question for Styles. I don't give a fuck who you are. So fuck who you are. I don't
Yeah,
care.
he was going at Hov on it.
He was going straight at Hov on his own record.
I mean, that's what all of them kind of
But it goes back to what we were saying.
No, the Hov was like, oh, who sound like he talking about me on it?
Jadakiss and Beanie Sigel didn't just trade bars. They nearly brought real chaos to the streets. Their rap beef, one of the most intense clashes in hip-hop history. These two weren't just throwing verses. They were throwing verbal bombs. But most fans don't even realize how dangerously close it got to real-life violence. Today, we're diving into why it's a miracle that both Jadakiss and Beanie made it out of that beef in one piece. It all kicked off back in 2001. And things got so heated, people started whispering there had to be some dark personal drama behind the scenes. But truth is, it didn't even start with Beanie. This whole firestorm began with tension between Jadakiss and Jay-Z. See, Jadakiss had been rapping since he was a young buck in Yonkers, teaming up with his day one crew, Sheek Louch and Styles P. They called themselves the Warlocks, and they were grinding hard. Their big break came when Mary J. Blige heard their music, liked what she heard, and hooked them up with a meeting with Diddy. Diddy was feeling their sound, so he signed them to Bad Boy Records and flipped their name from the Warlocks to the LOX. That's when they really started moving. They linked up with the biggest names on Bad Boy: Mace, Mariah Carey, and even Biggie himself. Early on, they were ghostwriting for other artists, but when Biggie passed, the LOX dropped a heartfelt tribute called We'll Always Love Big Papa, and boom, they were suddenly in the spotlight.
You actually took shots at Jay on that song, yo.
I always took shots in verses. That's where that's what it's about. I think mine was just blatantly obvious. But all rappers, especially during that time, it was all of a lot of shots going back and forth.
In 1998, the LOX dropped their debut album, and it shot straight to #1 on the R&B and hip-hop charts. It was a major win, but behind the scenes, they weren't feeling how Diddy ran things. His business style was rubbing them the wrong way, and the LOX wanted out, so they made a bold move. They bounced from Bad Boy and inked a new deal with Ruff Ryders. Now, Ruff Ryders originally started off just managing talent like DMX and the LOX, but it quickly became a full-blown powerhouse label. The crazy part? The LOX were already being managed by Ruff Ryders while still signed to Bad Boy. Diddy had a rep for locking artists into contracts and making it almost impossible to leave. But the LOX weren't going out like that. They launched the Free the LOX campaign, started pushing merch with slogans like Let the LOX Go, and put public pressure on Diddy to let them walk away from the label. It was bold, messy, and loud, but they were determined to take back control of their careers. Diddy eventually gave in and let the LOX walk away from Bad Boy Records, but not without pulling a slick move. He kept 50% of their publishing rights, meaning he was still getting paid off their work. Yeah, the drama cooled off between them over time, but Jadakiss wasn't about to let it slide completely. On the track, Blood Pressure, Jada made it clear the tension still lingered. He spit, "When you see me, don't ask me nothing about us. And don't definitely ask me nothing about..."
I looked at it as an opportunity for me to, lay my bones down in the game, like win, lose, or draw. Like this, we talking about Jadakiss, the LOX, you know what I mean? He, a vet in the game, and like I said that not too long ago. I don't think at that time nobody would even attempt to cross LOX at that time.
That's it. You owe me one. I owe you two. I would have smacked you with the burner, but I know you too. That verse, straight up venom. While all that was unfolding, Beanie Sigel was just starting to rise up in Philly. He was already building a name by crushing rap battles and pushing his mixtapes in the streets. One day, someone approached him with a chance to battle a group called Philly's Most Wanted for cash. Now the battle didn't actually happen, but they all spit in a cypher, and Beanie ended up outshining one of their rappers, Bubonic. That moment right there, it lit the spark. Turns out, the folks backing Philly's Most Wanted had ties to Jay-Z, and after seeing Beanie's raw talent, they were ready to connect him with Hov too. Just a few weeks later, Beanie got the call. Jay-Z wanted him and the crew to come up to New York and spit for him. Beanie went, delivered heat, and Jay-Z was sold. He offered everyone a shot at signing with Roc-A-Fella, but Philly's Most Wanted made a different move. They passed on Jay and signed with Atlantic instead. Beanie, on the other hand, didn't hesitate. He locked in a deal with Jay and officially joined Roc-A-Fella in '98. That same year, Beanie and Jadakiss ended up on the same Jay-Z track, Reservoir Dogs. Even though Beanie was from Philly and Jada repped New York, Beanie had mad respect for him. In 1999, Beanie jumped on Foxy Brown's song 4, 5, 6 and made sure to give props where it was due. He rapped, "Haters wondering how I got a position with Roc? 'Cause I listened to the LOX and I listened and watched." At that point, there was nothing but love. Beanie looked up to Jada and the LOX, straight up. But that respect, it wouldn't last forever. Things were about to take a wild turn, but everything flipped once Jadakiss started clashing with Jay-Z. The beef didn't officially explode until 2001, but the tension was bubbling way earlier, way before fans even noticed. Truth is, the LOX already had weird energy with Jay back when they linked up for Reservoir Dogs. In a 2020 interview with Genius, Jadakiss broke it all down and let the world in on how the smoke really started. According to Jada, the LOX had just landed back in New York after doing a string of shows. They were still at the airport when they got a call. Jay-Z wanted to hit the studio immediately and record a track with them. Sounds like a win, right? But there was a catch. The LOX wanted to drop their bags and get settled first. Jay, he wasn't trying to wait. He told them to come straight to the studio. No delays.
He's on a record with R. Kelly. Jay took a shot at them.
That rubbed the crew the wrong way. Jada said they felt like Jay-Z wasn't showing them any real respect. So when Styles P stepped into the booth, he didn't hold back. He dropped a verse on Jay's own record that came across like a straight-up diss. He rapped, "I don't give a fuck who you are, so fuck who you are. I don't care about a pretty bitch, a watch, or a car. I don't care about your block or whoever you shot. I don't care about your album and whenever it dropped. I don't care about your past. If I did, I would have asked. I'm too busy lighting dro with a whole lot of hash." For years, fans speculated that Styles was throwing shade at Jay with those bars. And over 2 decades later, Jay finally confirmed it. He even quoted it himself in an interview, saying, "No, maybe this more question for Styles. I don't give a fuck who you are, so fuck who you are." That was it. The mystery was solved. Styles P himself later admitted that the verse was aimed at Jay. What made it so wild? He dissed Jay-Z right there, on Jay's own song. And get this, when Styles came out the booth, Jay was actually laughing. He didn't act pressed in the moment, but deep down, you know he felt some type of way. That verse hit different. But even with that jab, the beef didn't catch fire right away when Reservoir Dogs dropped. According to Beanie Sigel, the real spark came later, when Jay-Z linked up with R. Kelly for a remix. That's when things really started to snowball. And the whole situation went from friendly competition to straight war. Things got messy when R. Kelly swapped Jadakiss out for Jay-Z on the Fiesta remix. Yeah, just like that. Jada was originally on the track, but R. Kelly replaced him and threw Jay in instead. Then Jay turned around and dropped a slick little jab at Jada in his verse, spitting, "After the Fiesta, then it's probably Chris. And after the original, it's probably this." Real subtle, but it landed. Jadakiss didn't take it lightly. He fired back on Blood Pressure with some deadly bars that made it clear he wasn't playing with nobody. He rapped, "Everybody walk the walk till they run into Kiss. Then they get stabbed or hung or stung with the fist. How you think your man hard when he stood on my D-Star? 'Cause I could get his ass bodied, plus front him a brick." That wasn't just smoke, that was straight heat. Meanwhile, Beanie Sigel was buzzing heavy after dropping his debut album, The Truth. At first, there was still love. Beanie had even shouted out Jada and the LOX before. But all that went out the window in 2001 when Jadakiss took it up a notch and dropped the track, That's when the beef with Beanie turned official. Jada didn't hold back. He came at Beanie direct with, "Shoot to kill, stomp dudes out, boots to grill. I'll give you a reason why I'm the truth for real. Dudes can't mess with Kiss. I mean that. Had to stop eating red meat because I ate too many Beanie Macs." And then he doubled down with, "I'm not one of them dudes. And since you so righteous, don't make me send your ass to Allah quicker. Dudes gas you to force your hand. Realistically, you just a worker and your boss is my man." He straight up clowned Beanie for being under Jay, calling him a worker.
Roc-A-Fella and them were on Hot 97 dissing him. He wanted to get his gun and go confront him at Hot 97.
No, that's not it. Because they had him aggravated. Somebody that's really lyrical coming at you like that and saying some clever shit, and the other people think it's dope what they said. You like, fuck that. I'm going to smack this nigga, right? It's crazy. So I hear him. I was there.
While claiming he had ties with the boss himself. Brrr. To add even more gas to the fire, DMX jumped on the same track and spit something that made fans go wild. He said, "I only gave you the crown so I could shoot it off your head. Y'all dudes dead. You heard what I said? I talk shit cause I walk shit, start shit." Everybody thought X was aiming straight at Jay-Z. At the time, Jadakiss had just released his debut solo album, Kiss the Game Goodbye, and the streets were feeling him heavy. The buzz was loud, and he had the energy. But Jay, he didn't respond to Jada at all. Silent. Beanie Sigel, though, he wasn't about to let it slide. He locked in, hit the booth, and fired right back with a freestyle aimed squarely at Jadakiss. Beanie Sigel didn't come to play. He came to obliterate. He kicked things off with a straight-up savage freestyle that had the streets buzzing and the rap game shook. Beanie came at Jadakiss with zero filter, spitting, "Yo, forget the speculation, talk's over. I'm about to sun kiss like a soda, then make Jada shoot the one, put his lips on his 9 and really kiss the game goodbye." He was going off. Then he added, "You about to really make me hurt you, kiss," spitting candy bars. This dude's sweeter than a Hershey's kiss. Beanie wasn't just throwing shade. He came for everybody in the LOX and even threw some at Raekwon too. He mocked Jada, rapping, "Talking about you rocked yourself out. When I see you, you gonna really wish you knocked yourself out." He clowned the whole LOX crew, saying, "You only tough when the whole LOX help out. It's just me. I don't need Roc to help out." Then he dropped this sneaky shot at Styles P. "I can tell why Styles said he the ghost in this shh. I can tell by your style, he writes most of your shh." He didn't stop there. Beanie even went at DMX, referencing his Belly movie character Tommy Buns, and firing off, "I got the mask and the text and the Tommy guns. Leave it up to Hov to X out Tommy Buns." Beanie was flexing like crazy, daring them to put their money where their mouths were. "We could bet what you owe Puff and double your debt. Double that, quadruple the threat." Nobody saw it coming. Beanie was still considered a new face in the rap game, while Jadakiss and the LOX already had deep respect in the industry. But Beanie didn't care. He wanted all the smoke. After Beanie's diss hit the streets, Jadakiss clapped back with a nuclear freestyle. He lit into Beanie with, "Yo, when I met you, you was on my D. Jigga gave you his old Bentleys, now you think you lit. And I don't know where they found you, son, but since your pops ain't around, I'ma punish you and ground you, son." Jada didn't stop there. He accused Beanie of stealing his whole style. "And dudes can't stand you, Sigel. Your flow is mine anyway, so don't bite the hand that feeds you." Then Jada sent out some cold threats toward Beanie and Freeway. "I got dudes in Philly that been where you live. Forget Scarface, my bullets hit women and kids. Worst mistake was trying for me, and you can bring your baby gorilla with you. He dying for free." He kept the pressure on with more brutal lines. "And I hate beans, but forget it, Kiss gon' eat. It's me and you, forget the labels, let's go street." Jada made it clear he wasn't letting anything slide. "And your rap fans need me. I don't know why this dude keep talking greasy. When Mac jam easy, forget what you thinking. Fast thinking? What chick wanna lay with you?" Then Jada dropped the final haymaker. He exposed Beanie as a fan, saying the only reason Beanie ever got signed was because he studied him and his crew. "I could get you marked in a day or two. You forget the reason that you signed to the Roc? Because you listened and you watched, and listened to the LOX. And just when you thought it couldn't get more personal, Jada even claimed he had pictures of Beanie's own mom hugging him backstage at the Hard Knock Life tour. This beef wasn't just about rap anymore. It was personal, petty, and dangerously close to real-life madness. Jadakiss wasn't just beefing, he was on a mission to humiliate Beanie Sigel. He even brought Beanie's own mom into it, rapping, "All it take is a gun and a bomb. You got me on tape, Hard Knock Life tour, hugging your mom." Cold-blooded. But Jada didn't stop there. He took the disrespect straight into Beanie's backyard. In 2001, Philly's Powerhouse concert was the biggest show in town.
"Let's grip up, let's go down there, let's wait for them to come out, and Wild Wild West this shit." They like, you really want to do that? Like, yeah, man, or let's do something similar to that. Well, how we just gonna let?
And Jadakiss was invited to perform. Everything was going smooth until he cut the music and launched into a wild freestyle dissing Beanie right in front of his own city. The crowd couldn't believe it. Jada spit, "I look at my son, different gun spitting, head in your back, send over the body, fire again, send Sigel a wire, I'm riding again. We getting it on, throw your man leg on the lawn, he can't walk. Put your brother's tongue in the mail, he can't talk." The crowd instantly turned on him. Philly wasn't having it. People started booing and chucking stuff at Jada on stage. He had gone way too far, and everyone felt it. And guess what? Beanie wasn't even there when it all went down. But the second he heard what happened, he pulled up to the venue with no hesitation and snatched the mic. Right there in front of the Philly crowd, Beanie dropped a freestyle that was beyond disrespectful. It was vicious. He said, "I'm thinking about taking his mom and making him watch. I'm taking my time, I'm making him watch. I'm taking his time, I'm taking his watch. I'm taking his grind, putting 5/8 on his block." Then he went even further. He hop out with a pocketbook and a wig. How you talk that P, shh, when you roll with big. The beef had gone way past lyrics. It was personal, ugly, and raw. Jadakiss had invaded Philly with pure fire. But now Beanie was plotting something major. He wasn't about to let this slide. So what did he do? He went straight to New York, enemy territory, and pulled up to Hot 97. He was with the whole state property crew, and the energy was thick. No one knew what Beanie was about to do, but everyone could feel the tension. Funk Flex was in the booth hyping it all up. And when Beanie grabbed the mic, he unleashed hell. What he did on that mic didn't just rattle the rap scene. It shook Jadakiss to the point where people say he picked up a gun afterward. That freestyle was so brutal, so raw, it became legendary.
I was shot beans and hope at that time.
Beanie wasn't just defending his name, he was coming for Jada's whole legacy. Beanie Sigel wasn't just targeting Jadakiss and the LOX, he wanted all the smoke. While the Jada beef was heating up, Jay-Z was also deep in it with Nas. And Beanie decided to ride for his team. So what did he do? He lit up Nas too. No hesitation. He dropped bars like, "You little chumps better double up. I'm about to mace a couple cats. Send them close to God. I killed Kiss one style. Now I'm about to focus on Nas. You know Matic? Got the medicine bag? Well, I'm the doctor. Make the house visit Chrome. Desert with the hollows in it." Beanie wasn't pulling punches. He was coming full throttle, aiming at anyone standing in Roc-A-Fella's way. Then he followed with this straight-up unhinged line. "You got a banger? I'm across in the cross position. Chump, listen. Don't you know I'm gutter? I kidnap kids, hit them in they ass, throw them over the bridge." At this point, it was clear. Beanie wasn't scared of nobody. Most rappers avoided beef with legends like Nas. But Beanie, he dove right in. And after he took shots at Nas, he circled back to Jada with another vicious round, snapping, "Back to Jada Pinkett or Kiss. No matter how I look at it, still think of a chick. No matter how I switch it up, think of an actor. Can't stick to the scripts." Then came the warning shots. "I'ma give you a clip and I keep the latest Uzi out leading the pipe. That's gangster. I'm in class all by myself. I'm on your ass all by myself. That's danger." He ended it with, "You want war, chump? That's what it is. Full Metal Jacket's dressing your kid. Jada, put your life on pause. No replay." After Beanie went nuclear on Hot 97, it felt like the streets might really explode.
I mean, I'm glad it didn't go there, but that's the reaction you want, though.
His bars were lethal, but the aftershock was even crazier. When Jadakiss heard what Beanie said on air, he snapped. According to Sheik Louch from the LOX, Jada was ready to grab the burner and storm the radio station. He wasn't just mad. He wanted to turn Hot 97 into a war zone. Sheik said Jada was on edge like, "Let's grip up. Let's go. I'ma wait outside the studio and let it be Wild Wild West when they come out." It got that real. Jada was so heated, Sheik had to calm him down before things went off the rails. And Styles P, he wasn't backing down either. He told folks he was ready to shoot Beanie, and even Jay-Z if it came to that. The beef wasn't just lyrical anymore. It was inches from turning deadly. Lines were crossed, emotions were out of control, and one wrong move could have changed everything forever. Even though Styles P was down for the war, he also tried to calm Jadakiss down because Jada was fuming. He was so hot over the Hot 97 diss that he was ready to slide up to the studio alone, strapped and ready for whatever. It wasn't just music at this point, it was personal. Styles P later said the beef with Beanie Sigel and Roc-A-Fella cut deep because back in the day, they were all cool. He wanted everyone from that circle to win. But once the disrespect started flying, that loyalty got torched. Emotions went from 0 to 100 real fast. And it was only a matter of time before someone did something that couldn't be undone. The wild part? These weren't just rap dudes fronting for attention. Beanie and the LOX were really built for that street life. Beanie had already done a year in prison on a gun charge, and he nearly got hit with way more time when he caught an attempted murder case. And on the flip side, Styles P once got locked up for stabbing someone in a club in NYC. These weren't movie lines. They lived it for real. Beanie later claimed the beef wasn't personal for him, but admitted he found it hilarious that Jadakiss and the LOX were that pressed over the Hot 97 diss. But no matter what Beanie said, the LOX weren't letting it slide. They didn't pull up with weapons, but they did come back swinging with a wild freestyle, and all three of them unloaded on Beanie and state property. Sheik Louch sent a direct threat in rhyme warning, "Y'all don't really want to play because y'all wouldn't rap about it. Be careful when the club is crowded. 3 or 4 drinks. Dudes have blood on your minks. I ain't trying to do this all night. Let's fight. Pull the guns out. Put the boxing gloves down. We'll see if you can last this round, clown." Then Styles P went off, throwing fire at both Beanie and Jay-Z, spitting, "Won't say the dude name, but he far from the truth. You a punk, clown, and your boss is soft." This dude want to say my name, better get a gun. Plan to use it if you want to play my game. Then came Jadakiss with the final blow. He ended the freestyle with the pettiest, most disrespectful shot yet. Allegedly, he took aim at Dame Dash's girl, Aaliyah, dropping a line so wild, folks didn't even want to repeat it out loud. If that was true, Jada went way past the line. This wasn't just a battle over bars anymore. It was turning into a street-level war, full of ego, legacy, and pride.
The judge was going to let me go. Monitor. And she said, you know, would you be willing, and that's the part that people don't, would you be willing to be responsible for his whereabouts, not be responsible for my actions, just his whereabouts? Would you be willing to do that? Provide us with all the information, you know, saying that he's going to be here, there. And after all that good shit, and he said no.
And every time someone dropped a verse, they were pushing this beef closer to something no one could take back. Aaliyah's tragic death in a plane crash back in 2001 shook the entire music world. And ever since, whispers and rumors have swirled around it. While there's zero real evidence she was taken out on purpose, some folks still speculate shady things went down behind the scenes. At the time, she was dating Dame Dash, Jay-Z's right-hand man. And word on the street was they were even planning to get married. Then came the LOX freestyle that fueled the rumors even more. Jadakiss allegedly threw a subliminal shot at both Dame Dash and Aaliyah. In the track, he rapped, "I ain't the R, but I'm ready to build, and dudes is ready to die, only 'cause they ain't ready to kill. But this a man's world? Y'all keep messing with Kiss. I see to it. You visit your man and That last line cuts off with a sound effect. But a lot of people believe Jada originally said, "I see to it, you visit your man's girl." If that's true, it would have been a direct shot at Dame's girlfriend Aaliyah, who had just passed. Whether that's what he meant or not, the timing had people talking. Even if Jada didn't say it, the damage was done. He was already stirring the pot in a dangerous way. And right after that, he kept throwing flames Beanie's way. In the same freestyle, Jadakiss spit, "Time that we get on, dudes beam just to make you fart." Kiss really shitting on dudes. Y'all got all the bucks, why y'all mad? Because we love to stab, and we mess dudes up bad. He kept piling on, who want what and where they want it at. You know where to find me, in the Chinese store with 100 sack. Think it's a game, till your moms pull that white sheet back off, and then she think it's a shame. At that point, it felt like this wasn't just lyrical anymore. These dudes weren't talking metaphors. They were sending threats. The way it was going, it seemed like it was only a matter of time before somebody ended up seriously hurt, or worse. Everyone in the game knew both sides were certified street. They weren't faking the gangster life. They lived it. These were real trench-born guys, and this beef was way past the mic. But surprisingly, miraculous, that's not how it ended. Instead of letting it spiral into real bloodshed, Beanie Sigel and Jadakiss came face to face and squashed the beef like grown men. It happened at Riverbank Park, and both crews pulled up strapped. Jada later said the whole spot was hot with cops watching every move, but they still made peace. After all the chaos, it was a rare moment in rap history. Two real ones choosing to let it go before the streets chose for them. The day everything could have exploded, didn't. The LOX, Ruff Ryders, and state property were all gathered in the same place. And tension was thick. One wrong move, one sideways look, and it could have gone full war zone. But instead of letting it pop off, Beanie Sigel and Jadakiss dipped off together and actually kicked it. That moment, it changed everything.
Us and State Prop got squashed in Riverbank Park. They probably had wild guns on them. We had wild guns on us, and me and Sigel just talking in the park. And we was able to, fix.
They squashed the beef right there. According to Beanie, both he and Jada had gotten booked for the same show. Now with all that bad blood, most dudes would have canceled. But not them. Neither one of them wanted to back down or look weak. They both knew it could go left real fast. So instead of risking it, they agreed to link up and talk like men. Back then, Jadakiss and the LOX were rolling deep with the Ruff Ryders. That crew had hundreds of street soldiers ready to move. So when Beanie pulled up to Riverbank Park, he didn't come solo. He brought about 20 or 30 of his own people, just in case things jumped off. But even he admitted, the Ruff Ryders still had them outnumbered heavy. Beanie later said the whole thing felt surreal because deep down, he was a massive fan of the LOX. He told DJ Vlad that he probably liked the LOX more than Jay-Z. But since he had signed to Roc-A-Fella, he ended up beefing with the very dudes he looked up to. Wild how that loyalty played out. It was never really personal with Jadakiss. It started because Beanie was riding for Jay-Z during the whole Roc-A-Fella versus Ruff Ryders energy. But years later, the roles flipped. Beanie wasn't cool with Jay anymore, but stayed tight with Jadakiss. The real turning point came when Beanie was facing serious prison time. When he first signed with Roc-A-Fella, he treated that label like it was family. He was loyal to the bone, doing everything he could to rep the team. But when things got real and he caught a charge, that loyalty wasn't returned. Beanie had a bail hearing and needed support. Jay-Z did show up to court, but only for a second. Instead of going all in to help his artist, Jay left early, and Beanie felt abandoned. That moment shifted everything. From day one, Beanie had backed Roc-A-Fella like it was his block, but when he needed his family the most, the support wasn't there. And just like that, the beef that started because of Jay eventually ended with Beanie and Jadakiss cool, and Jay out of the picture. When Beanie Sigel needed Jay-Z the most, Hav left him hanging. During Beanie's bail hearing, the judge straight up asked Jay if he'd be responsible for knowing Beanie's whereabouts while out on bail. They weren't even asking him to vouch for Beanie's actions, just to say where he'd be staying. But instead of stepping up, Jay put his head down and told the court, no. That was it. The judge had been ready to let Beanie walk, but since Jay refused to help, Beanie was sent straight back behind bars. Just like that. Beanie later said that moment broke him. He felt like Jay was a brother, and seeing him fold like that in court, he said, I had never been crushed like that in my life. At the time, Beanie was facing heavy heat, an attempted murder charge after allegedly firing 6 shots at a nightclub doorman in Philly. On top of that, he had a federal gun case already hanging over his head. It wasn't looking good. And the one man who could have helped him avoid jail time didn't even lift a finger. Beanie ended up beating the attempted murder charge, but he still served 1 year and a day in prison for the federal case. While he was locked up, the industry kept moving, and so did the drama. Around that same time, Jay-Z and Dame Dash had their infamous fallout.
No, I think me and Kiss was on the same show.
Okay.
And it was like, nah, that shit ain't going down.
So you guys had a conversation?
Yeah, because you gotta look, we had the heat of this shit. And this shit like, yo, we on the same bill. You know, normally somebody would be like, they ain't gonna do the show. And it's like, we doing the show. Whatever happened.
Roc-A-Fella Records was crumbling, and everyone had to pick sides. Was it Team Jay or Team Dame? When Beanie came home, he shocked people. He chose to stick with Jay-Z. Even after all the court drama, even after being left to rot in jail, he still re-signed with Jay. But let's be real, it was never the same. The trust was cracked, and behind the scenes, there was real tension. That tension eventually boiled over in 2009, when Beanie finally snapped and dropped a diss track aimed straight at Hav. On Average Cat, Beanie made it very clear he wasn't holding back anymore. He rapped, I'm a grown-ass man. I don't sit on dudes' laps. And I ain't looking for no gifts out of Santa Claus' sack. That line? Ice cold. It was Beanie letting the world know. He was done playing little bro. The loyalty he once had for Jay, gone. After all the years of riding for Roc-A-Fella, he finally let the truth out, and it stung. Beanie Sigel wasn't holding back. He kept the pressure on Jay-Z and took the disrespect even further, dropping another verse that dragged Beyonce into the mix. On his track, Beanie spit, Santa ain't real, let alone seeing black. Catch him coming down my chimney and it's a wrap. From a city where it's long, dark nights here, where hard knock life's real. Then he hit Jay where it hurt. How it feel to get exposed? Don't you feel naked? I was the fly on the wall, the stuff I witnessed. I could say things that'd make B look at you different. That bar had folks doing double takes. Beanie was teasing some serious behind-the-scenes dirt and hinting that he knew stuff that could mess up Jay's image with Beyonce. Straight threat mode. Beanie reminded people that even though he was on trial for serious charges, he stood tall. My gangster was never on trial, but I was. I stood up tall, no snitching. But the rapper Sean, he called the police on me. That line right there. Allegedly, Beanie was accusing Jay-Z, real name Sean Carter, of snitching. For street cats, that's one of the worst things you can say, and Beanie said it loud. But the beef wasn't just personal, it was financial too. After Beanie got out of prison, 50 Cent was allegedly ready to sign him to G-Unit for a fat deal, $800,000. But that bag never landed, because Jay allegedly blocked the deal. Just like that, the money disappeared. Beanie was done playing nice. He aired Jay out again rapping, when I came home from jail, was out here in the day, you didn't come one day to see me. Not one picture, no letter. Went to the office and asked you to let me off Roc-A-Fella Records. Somebody, no names, wanted me, and they were offering real money. He felt like Jay not only turned his back, but purposely stopped his next big move. Jay and 50 Cent had their own issues too. Back when 50 was first making waves, he shook the whole industry with How to Rob, a diss track where he took shots at nearly everybody, including Jay-Z. He rapped, "What? Jigga just sold like 4 million? He got something to live for. Don't want a dude putting 4 through that Bentley Coupe door." Jay didn't stay quiet. That same year, he clapped back on a track, firing shots right back at 50. So when Beanie tried to join G-Unit, it's no surprise Jay wasn't having it. What started as a label beef turned into betrayal, blocked opportunities, and veiled threats. And Beanie was unloading it all on wax. Jay-Z famously said, "I'm about $1. What the F is 50 Cent?" That line lit up the rap game, and it added fuel to a rivalry that had been brewing for years. But despite the tension, Jay and 50 eventually squashed their beef and even hit the road together on tour back in 2003. Still, behind the scenes, it wasn't all love. Insiders close to Jay claimed he was always looking over his shoulder when it came to 50. He knew 50 Cent had the potential to snatch the crown as the biggest rapper in New York. That paranoia stuck with him. For a while, the business relationship between Jay and 50 seemed solid, until things cracked wide open in 2007. That's when 50 and Kanye West went head-to-head in a public sales battle. Both artists dropped albums on the same day, and the challenge was simple. Whoever sold less would retire from rap. Kanye's album Graduation crushed the numbers, moving over 1 million copies in its first week. Meanwhile, 50's Curtis moved less than 700,000.
That's the first time really get to see him face to face, and I was a super fan. I might have been more of a fan of the LOX than I was of Jay at the time. Yeah, I just got signed to Roc-A-Fella Records, but Jay wasn't in the pull-out, the D phase.
It was a major blow, but instead of just taking the L, 50 pointed fingers right at Jay-Z. He claimed Jay had been pulling strings behind the scenes, using his power at the label to boost Kanye's numbers, just to get him out the game. So when 50 later tried to sign Beanie Sigel, a former Roc-A-Fella soldier, Jay shut it down instantly. No hesitation. It was personal now. Beanie was trying to make a comeback. 50 was ready to give him a real bag. And Jay, he wasn't letting it happen. The tension between Jay and Beanie had reached new levels. But even after all the disses, Beanie showed he still had some love left for his old boss. At the end of one of his tracks, he said, "Nah, I still got love for the dude. It's like taking my brother in the yard for 5 minutes, because I got a knot in my chest that needs to get unloosened. And when you got love for somebody, it don't just go away that easy." That line hit deep. It showed that despite all the betrayal, all the silence, and all the missed chances, Beanie still considered Jay family. And while some fans were shocked Beanie ever came at Hav in the first place, he claimed Jay started it. According to Beanie, Jay threw the first jab on the track Already Home, where he allegedly shaded Beanie and the State Property crew for falling off. "Hov, I got my own lane already. I done cooked up the rock already, so why the F can't y'all get hot already?" Jay played it cool on the surface, but his bars were cutting deep. And for Beanie, those lines were the final straw. It wasn't just rap beef anymore. It was about loyalty, respect, and a brotherhood that got torn apart in public. Eventually, Beanie Sigel and Jay-Z managed to squash the beef, but let's be real, things were never the same. They might have made peace, but that old bond from the Roc-A-Fella days, that trust, long gone. Ironically, it was Jadakiss, not Jay, who came through when Beanie needed support. In 2024, Beanie opened up a food truck in Philly, and guess who pulled up to show love? Jada. No cameras, no clout chasing, just real support. Beanie had picked up cooking skills while doing time, and he flipped that into something positive. The streets respect that. Even though Beanie always had solid credibility in the rap game, he never really blew into full-blown mainstream status. His name held weight, but he didn't hit the chart-topping levels like some of his peers. Still, he stayed active, dropping music and keeping his name alive. Then in 2014, everything changed. Beanie was caught in a drive-by shooting that nearly took his life. He had just dropped his kids off at school in New Jersey when somebody pulled up and let off shots. According to police, Beanie wasn't even the intended target, but he got hit anyway. 2 bullets to the back. One of them took out part of his lung. When he woke up in the hospital, Beanie was confused and in pain. Not realizing what was going on, he tried to yank out the breathing tube doctors had inserted down his throat. That move shredded his vocal cords. After that, Beanie couldn't talk for months, and when he finally could again, his voice had changed for good. It's softer now, quieter, a permanent reminder of how close he came to checking out. But instead of falling off, Beanie flipped the script. He found new ways to get to the bag, outside the drama, outside the spotlight. He stepped out of the beef and into a new lane, focused on business, health, and moving smart. As for Jadakiss, he glowed up too. After all the smoke cleared, Jada made peace with Jay-Z and even signed a deal with Roc-A-Fella for a while. It was a full circle moment, proof that some rap beefs can end without bloodshed. Two men from the same era, once caught in one of the most heated feuds in hip-hop, now finding peace in completely different ways. Beanie got his food truck, Jada got his business deals, and both of them proved that survival in this game is about more than bars, it's about growth. By 2016, the LOX made a major comeback, reuniting and dropping their first album in 16 years. And Jadakiss, he stayed grinding. Not only has he been dropping solo albums on the regular, but he also got into the wellness game. He linked up with Styles P to open a juice bar, pushing health and hustle hand in hand. Then in 2022, Jada kept the business moves rolling and launched a coffee company with his dad and his son, making it a real family legacy. On the other side, Beanie Sigel's path had more bumps, but he still found his own way, moving past the beef and building something new. Even though their drama doesn't always get the same spotlight as other rap feuds, real hip-hop heads know Beanie Sigel vs. Jadakiss was one of the most underrated but dangerous beefs in the game. They dropped some of the coldest diss tracks ever, and the fact that both of them made it out alive without bloodshed, that's rare. If you rocked with this breakdown, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share with somebody who needs to hear this story. Thanks for tapping in, and we'll catch you on the next one.